Cold, it doesn't chase you. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't rush. It waits. And in the Yukon Territory, winter isn't a season. It's an environment that erases mistakes. Frostbite isn't dramatic. It's quiet. Hypothermia doesn't announce itself. It convinces you to sit down and never stand back up. 1932. Men who knew the land, who had survived it their entire lives, believed one rule above all others. No man survives out there alone for long. And yet, somewhere beyond the Rat River, that rule was being broken. Not once, not by accident, but repeatedly. This is the true story of the mad trapper of Rat River and how the wilderness stopped being the danger and started being his ally. What's up, everybody? I got you there, didn't I? You said, ooh. I promised not only Meg, but I promised everybody that we wouldn't do anything with fire. We went a little hard with fire. I don't know why.
So we're doing Polar Extreme.
So we are, Polar Extremes. I see what you did there. Ciao. We did at the same time. We've been hanging out too much. But the voice you're hearing, it's me, it's Matt, it's Beardlaws, and joining me as always is the beautiful, slightly sick, still gorgeous, dun queen, Meg.
Yet again.
I feel like we are living in the Yukon Territory where winter is brutal, and we can relate to this. We're an international podcast. We've done shows in Canada, Mexico probably, and maybe Ireland, maybe China, maybe Russia. Who knows? Go listen to some older episodes. But I said, let's go across the river, across the pond, they say in our parts, which I'm not really sure because it's clearly a river and not a pond. We're going to go to Canada for an episode. Have you heard of this one? The Mad Trapper of Rat River?
I have not.
This one's pretty interesting and much different than fire in what we have done. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be good.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Without further ado, let's get into the Mad Trapper of Rat River. You're probably thinking, where the heck is Rat River? Well, the Rat River region, it's pretty isolated, and it's strategically avoided, and even hardened trappers preferred routes that kept them within reach of trading post, emergency shelter, and other registered trap lines. And Rat River.
I was just going to say, it's making me want cheese curd.
For anybody that doesn't know, yes, River Rat does offer some cheese curd, and I'm going to probably say it backwards a million times. I do apologize in advance. So for anybody that doesn't know, because there are probably some people here that are like, what is trapping? What is trapping? Why don't you tell them what trapping is?
Trapping? Trap wild animals. Most likely sell the fur.
The pelt.
The pelt.
But so like a trap. Yeah, it's kind of like a mouse trap, but for much bigger animals. And it was a way not only to have food, but to trade and make money. And there's still some people around here that are, doing that, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
What do you trap? You trap beaver? Raccoons?
Yeah. There's coyotes.
Coyotes.
But that's more of like farm control out this way.
Yeah. So Rat River is in the Manitoba, Canada area. Manitoba. I think they say it like that. Like a Minnesota. Manitoba.
Maybe. Probably not, though.
It's also the river that, it's actually several rivers. The one near Manitoba, Canada, it actually flows right into the Red River, and another in Wisconsin that flows into the Wolf River. So,
Wolf River.
Oh! So, not the cheese curd river rat. Rat River, it offered all of that stuff. Winter temperatures, they regularly dropped below negative 40 degrees, which we've been there. It sucks. How would you describe walking outside on a negative 40 degree day?
Your soul leaving your body.
Yeah, and
literally.
And if you had
and then
just
it crystallizes in front of you.
Yeah, and if you just showered within the last 30 minutes, you walk outside, if there's even a little bit of wet hair, wet beard, your nose hairs, everything instantly freezes.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal. It takes
your breath away.
Yeah, take my breath away. Like that?
Yeah, just like that.
And it's negative 40. And then if you add wind chills, it's even worse. I mean, once it gets below negative 20, it doesn't feel any different. It's ridiculous. You cannot be outside for more than a little bit, especially you don't want any skin exposed. It can be instant frostbite. If you're living in Texas or California or somewhere nice right now, it's probably unfathomable to even think
Your
of that.
pipes freeze.
Pipes freeze. You got to leave the
Sometimes
water
they close
running.
schools.
It's
They don't want kids at the bus stops and stuff like that.
why do we live here? But either way, it's cold. And then the rivers, they actually freeze. And when they freeze unevenly. Snow hit hazards. A broken snowshoe or a twisted ankle could be a death sentence when it's that cold. So when a man chose to live there deliberately, it stood out. By the late 1920s, locals began noticing him. He kept no company. He spoke little. He paid cash. He didn't brag. He didn't complain. He didn't drink. But he also didn't belong. He never registered a trap line, a requirement meant to prevent territorial disputes. That alone made him pretty suspicious. But in the North, suspicion wasn't enough to start trouble. That changed when traps started turning up destroyed. Steel traps. They weren't casually damaged. Someone had taken the time to bend them, disable them, and make sure that they never function again. That wasn't desperation. That was intent. It's got to be a big problem up there. And I'm picturing some pretty tough sons of a guns like that song, y'all messing with a son of a beep. This is probably what they came from, right? Yeah. All right. So still with me? Still with us?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to December 1931. Complaints, they reached the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The assignment was simple. Go talk to the man. Find out what was going on and de-escalate the situation, right? Constable Alfred King took the job. When he reached the cabin, it was silent. There was no smoke. There was no movement. He knocked. Nothing. Knocked again. Guess what? Still nothing. Concerned someone might be injured or maybe even hiding, King forced the door open. The rifle shot came instantly. The bullet narrowly missed, killing him. King fled into the snow as another shot followed. This wasn't a warning shot. This was a man defending his isolation at gunpoint. It's got to be a scary situation. Some dude out there busting all the traps and you're just going to barge into his house? What do you think he's going to do? I mean, a guy that isolated, I'm surprised he missed.
Maybe the miss was intentional, though.
Maybe. Like
Warning.
a warning shot. Go on, get! When the Mounties returned with some reinforcements, they expected confrontation. But what they found instead was preparation. The cabin wasn't just shelter, it was a defensive position. Snow had been packed against the walls, providing insulation and ballistic protection. Small firing pots had been cut at angles that covered approaches. The structure sat on ground that offered visibility and advantage. This wasn't the work of an amateur. Negotiation failed. Orders escalated. Eventually, the Mounties used dynamite. The cabin exploded. Logs shattered. Snow collapsed inward. But when the smoke cleared, there was no body. Only tracks. And those tracks led straight into the frozen wilderness. That's a wild scene, right? One on I don't know how many won't come out, so they apparently said let's use dynamite. I feel like dynamite doesn't get used nearly as much as it should in life anymore, right?
Oh, my.
I'm saying, like the dynamite business, they probably would always use them in the mines. They'd use them for certain things. I don't think anybody uses dynamite. When's the last time you've heard the word dynamite? That's what I'm saying. Dynamite. I think there's got to be some businesses out there that were really hurt. The dynamite business.
I feel like they probably still use it in the mines.
Think so?
Yeah, I do.
Why'd you say so confidently? There's got to be a better way than dynamite. A lot of people died by dynamite. You think that they don't have better ways in these days?
I don't know. I don't work in the mines.
No. Me neither. I was just saying.
But they have to have a way to blast.
Should we ask my phone?
Sure.
Do they still use dynamite in mines around the country? Let's see here. Searching. Yes, dynamite is still used in U.S. mines, but it's largely specialized tool, often acting as a primer or other explosives, which is common for large-scale blasting. I would have never thought that. I thought there would have been something better. All right, well, Meg's right. I'm wrong. Shocker. So at first, the Mounties assumed the wilderness would just do their job for them, right? It always did. But days passed, then weeks. The tracks continued. The man, now identified only. What do you think this man's name is? What do you think this fugitive's name is? You got any guesses?
Paul Johnson.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. It's not Paul Johnson. But, and for anybody that doesn't know, or maybe
darn.
maybe is new here, Meg doesn't see the notes. She comes in here blind. She's not actually blind. She comes in here with no show notes in live reacts. But the man's name was Albert Johnson. So
Al was probably my second choice.
So I mean, Big Al Johnson. Paul's probably a cousin, uncle, nephew, grandfather. That's pretty impressive. Well done.
I've been tuning in lately.
You are very tuned in, locked and loaded like some dynamite at this guy's cabin. But old Albert Johnson, he wasn't wandering. He was traveling. He avoided ridgelines where wind exposure was deadly. He crossed rivers where ice thickness was the strongest. He chose terrain that concealed his movement. Guess what, Meg? What was most disturbing of all? He moved way faster than the men who were following him. Albert Johnson, he's a wild boy. Veteran trappers began quietly admitting something that nobody wanted to say out loud. The man knew exactly what he was doing.
Feral.
He's a feral? He's a feral Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a pretty cool name. If you were up in Manitoba, name your kid Feral. You could take the Your Tub podcast. But the longer the chase did go on, the more dangerous it became. They then brought in some dog teams. They brought in trackers who were native to the land. And I don't know what they would have had to pay them, but they were like, hey, we got to stop this guy, right? So they joined the pursuit. They offered generational knowledge of the land. Even they struggled to anticipate Johnson's movements. It's wild. Then Johnson turned the hunt around. In a calculated ambush, he killed Mountie Edgar Millen. It wasn't panic. It wasn't chaos. It was precision. And from that moment on, the tone of this changed drastically. This wasn't a man avoiding arrest. This was a man who knew how to fight and was willing to do so. That's terrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy knows. I feel like this is like probably where the script of some Rambo movies came from.
I feel like there's been movies similar.
And there could be. I mean, this is a pretty well-known story, the Mad Trapper of Rat River. So they might have made a movie or something out of it. I mean, this is the plot of a lot of wild movies, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Man breaks law, man hides, man runs. They can't find man. Man knows land real well. But what's crazy to me is that this guy's doing it in these sub-zero temperatures.
He's probably wrapped in fur.
Probably. Lots of fur that he stole from people's traps. With options running out, the RCMP, those Mounties, they made a rare and a very dangerous decision. And what they did? They brought in an airplane. In 1932, flying in Arctic conditions was borderline suicidal. I mean, engines would freeze, visibility was so bad. A crash would mean isolation. A crash would mean that pilot was gone. But from the air, they finally saw him. One man dragging a sled, moving steadily across open ground. No hesitation, no erratic behavior. Offers later said the sight was unnerving, not because he looked desperate, but because he looked intentional. He wasn't fleeing blindly. He was choosing his endgame. Wow. But even if they were tracing him, they were tracking him. Yeah, they couldn't keep up with him, but even if they're on an airplane, by the time they see the airplane, get back, report where he is, they can be able to get out there and find him. I mean, the dude's still trucking. Well, sledding, I guess. Out there, he didn't find or steal a team of dogs, so they could use that as
like a sled team.
Yeah. Probably harder to do, but I think that's where I would try. Well, Meg, that was a lot of December, a lot of chaos. We're all the way into February 1932, Eagle River. They find him. They surround him. He's outnumbered. He's exhausted. He has no viable escape. Do you think he's going to fight? Or do you think he's going to give up?
He's going to tunnel.
Tunnel? Think he has an elaborate snow tunnel?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. You said you were tuned in? You weren't for this one. No tunnel, no ferreting, lots of fighting. I mean, he had no way to get out of there. He did have his rifle. He did have his gun, and rifle fire echoed through the frozen valley and took sustained gunfire to bring old Albert Johnson down. When the Mounties approached his body, they expected answers. But instead, the mystery deepened. What do you think it deepened for?
I don't know.
Johnson was obviously malnourished. He was on the run for several months in a pretty harsh environment. He had some old injuries that he suffered, and his supplies were very, very minimal. Yet, his teeth were nearly perfect. His rifle was meticulously maintained. His accuracy suggested training, not luck. No fingerprints matched any known records. No confirmed identity actually surfaced. So the name Albert Johnson led absolutely nowhere. Could you imagine being that good that they don't even know who you are? They couldn't find fingerprints. They had no records. There was just Albert Johnson. I guarantee you that's not his name. That sounds like a fake name, right?
No.
You don't think so?
I think it suits him.
Maybe his real name's Paul. And you were right the whole time.
Probably.
Maybe. I mean, which is wild. Even after this guy dies, he remained a question mark. That's crazy. To this,
He's probably born in the woods.
You think so?
Probably.
Born and raised by wolves?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a story too. Imagine if all of these Disney movies and all these movies came just from this story, but it really happened.
Right.
And I mean, records and everything in the 30s, but he's I don't even remember how old they thought he was. But I mean, even if he was born in the late 1800s, early 1900s, I have to imagine birth certificates and birthing records aren't exactly up to par. I mean, technology was terrible, and I don't know. Albert Johnson, remote area, small hospital. They probably didn't even have a hospital. Like you said, he could have just been born wherever in the woods. Imagine single ma back then passes away giving birth to him, and he just figures it out. Got perfect teeth though.
Perfect teeth.
Wonder what his secret is. Just
charcoal.
Good. You think so?
Yeah, gotta be
Charcoal and good genes. To this day, Meg, historians debate who he actually was. Was he a former soldier? Was he a laborer hardened by isolation? Was he a man running for something he could never? What do you think? What if he was like an escaped prisoner of war, and he came from like Russia or something? Isn't Russia up that way over to Canada? I'm trying to think where Wisconsin is. That's a long ways.
I think he's a native of the landscape.
Think so?
I do.
Like a relative?
Pure survival mode all the time.
I'm still going to go with some kind of soldier. I mean, he was military trained. He was survival trained. He could have been like a special force guy that maybe fled. I mean, you got to think there was a lot of battles, a lot of wars, a lot of things happening around that time. I think he got out there, just was trained to survive, and just was kind of surviving in the middle of nowhere, keeping to himself until the Mounties stirred the pot. Huh. What do you think? Anything else?
No.
My opinion, what makes the story kind of unsettling isn't just what he did. I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, what he did wasn't that terrible. I mean, yeah, he was messing with some traps, maybe stealing some things like that, but he wasn't robbing banks. He wasn't murdering people, right?
But if you think back then, if trapping was what you live off of, there's a lot of money in trapping.
Yeah, I guess you are messing with some people. I guess it'd be no different than back then, or even now, like messing with the farmers, stealing crops and stealing
their
cows.
cows.
Why do we keep saying the same things? Jinx. Yeah. I guess it's
a lot of money in furs back then.
And then I guess if you are, breaking the traps, then it's a big cost to them as well. Okay. I stand corrected.
And time consuming.
Very.
You got to track down your traps. Most likely not just sitting in your backyard.
True.
You're going to have to go into the woods in those temperatures, in those conditions.
Wearing snowshoes. You ever wear snowshoes?
I have.
Pretty cool. Like walking on
water. It's harder
water.
than it looks, but once you get the hang of it.
No, it looks really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Do they make water shoes that you can walk on water? Like you can kind of walk on snow? They don't, right?
They should. Like lily pad shoes.
Yeah, lily pad shoes where do we just become millionaires? No, I don't know how to make one of those.
I don't either.
We'll ask AI. How do you make lily pad So we can walk on water.
I'm thinking some foam, some Gorilla Glue.
Want me to ask? Detailed list? I'll just ask my phone. Can you give me a detailed list of how you would make a set of shoes like lily pads where you could walk on water? Do you think it'll actually kick something out? Creating lily pad style shoes to walk on water involves a buoyant, wide platform or canoe shoe system. As actual water walking requires significant upforce to counteract gravity. The goal is to maximize. Yeah. So we need a buoyant base like blocks of styrofoam or large rigid plastic containers like totes or buckets. Lightweight plywood or rigid plastic shearing, strong webbing straps, old hiking sandals, or ski binding attachments, marine grade sealant, epoxy, heavy duty flex seal gorilla tape,
I feel like we're not the first ones to ask this question.
and a handsaw, hot wire cutter, sandpaper, and a utility knife and a drill. There we go.
Well, this just got complicated.
It sure did. I told you it wasn't going to be easy. Each shoe should roughly be 12 to 14 inches wide and 3 to 4 feet long. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to do that, are you? But if anybody out there does create them, thanks to us, please send us each a pair. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
7% of sales? Or should it be more? 9% of sales with zero investment. All right, let's jump back to this so we can wrap this up. Like we were saying, what's unsettling isn't just what he did. It's what he didn't leave behind. There was no letters. There was no connections, no history. Footprints in the snow. And even those footprints in the snow, they were erased by time now, weren't they? The Yukon is full of stories about people who underestimated the old Yukon. But this one's different, right? This is about a man who understood it, or maybe understood it probably better than anyone else, obviously, right? And he just still chose to disappear into it. Not for glory, not for money, not for revenge, but for the right to be unknown. If that doesn't make you wonder how many others made the same choice, then maybe, just maybe, you're not listening closely enough. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
That's a good one, right?
That was a good one.
So we'll go back to fire next week? Just kidding. We'll come up with something
Let's do
different.
some wind.
Some wind? Something windy? Well, the wind with the fire. The wind was what started the fire. We don't want any more wind. We got 2 to 3 foot of snow coming.
Let's do Captain Planet theme.
Captain Planet
Wind,
Earth. You said no more fire. We'll think about it. But if anybody has a suggestion,
heart.
We're doing something.
Do like a heart thing.
Somebody that eats hearts. Okay, we're gonna do.
I didn't say eats hearts.
Well, it's like a true crime history thing.
Okay.
We're gonna come up with somebody who eats hearts, or we'll have the band Heart on, special guest.
There's so many things that are heart related.
Okay.
You went right there.
All right. Well, Meg's gonna come up with a topic for next week. I'll do the research and we'll put out the episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Guess what? Do it again next week, right? Might as well.
Might as well.
All right. Let's do the thing. Hopefully, everybody has a good rest of your day, your week, your year. We'll be back. That's all we got. Bye-bye.
Bye.